All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. This is not going to be a short video. Okay, I can tell you that right now. But I'm gonna try to be straight to the point and concise. Um, this here, what I'm going to read to y'all is some items that I came across. Well, not even came across. I wrote them myself. They belong to me. They're mine. Not they're mine. I put them together and based off of my personal experience, and I think some of this can you can relate to some of this for yourself. And I call it the workplace issues or workplace issues, not so much the workplace issues, but workplace issues. And what I mean by that are issues that you come across in the workplace. And at the time that I wrote this, I was working in Maryland, commuting back and forth every week to go to Maryland from Virginia Beach to Maryland. Had to go get a new job. My sons were playing golf and gymnastics, very expensive sports, so we needed to make some money. So I was making just under $100,000 up there, but I was also paying 750 a month in rent to have a place up there. So things were tight, financially, but they was better. So we was, you know, a little in the negative. So I guess you could say, sort of like people say, you do a $60 order, you're not really making that much per hour or per whatever. And that's where we was at. It was like, okay, I'm making 97,000. My wife was making 40 or 50 something down here at that time. But we were still sort of tight on things because of the expenses we had for us the golf and the gymnastics, as well as I think some childcare stuff at the time. And me traveling back and forth, the wear and tear on the car, all of that. See, if y'all want to talk about wear and tear on the car, you try commuting, driving from Virginia Beach to Maryland every week, plus your driving that you're doing up there, 218 miles from my door to the place where I was renting. And you driving that every single week, up there and back. That's wear and tear on the car. So all of that, I was like, and I had to work a second job while I was up there. So Monday through Thursday, I was working a part-time job in the evenings. I even went and got a grad certificate up there while, doing that. So I was going to school. I was doing a lot, and came home every single weekend and took care of the family, was there for the family, all of that. But during that time, I realized there was some stuff that was going on that just wasn't right. And I started realizing that I'm not meant or fit to be in this work environment because as this man say, Kwame Brown say, to go along, get along game. I just that's not me. Or as I read, my saying is the cool kids club. When you're part of the cool kids club, you can do whatever you want and you just do what they say and you good. So I wrote these things down. I honestly couldn't tell you when I wrote them because I didn't date it or anything. Fortunately, I did write them in pen, so that's why they didn't fade. And I've had them for at least 10 years, maybe more. Yeah, at least 10 years. Had to be at least 10 years I've had this. I wrote these at least 10 years ago, probably max 11. So I'm going to read them and I'm going to give a little commentary to it to help you understand where I'm coming from with this. And you might be able to identify with these here for your own self. And again, from 1995, 96 ish till about 2010 is the time frame that I was basing this on. And even after that, my last job, it was still the same issues at that job too. And most people like, no, we didn't. I saw them, And sometimes when you're in things, you don't see it. So workplace issues, or I call them WPIs. The number, and it's 17 of them. The first one is the true meaning of right fit. What is the true meaning of right fit? What I learned is the true meaning of right fit does not relate to your ability to do the job. It relates to whether you can go along, get along, whether you can be invited into the cool kids club, whether you're going to do stuff that's going to disrupt. what they already got going on. Meaning, if you're the right fit, you're not going to, and they're out there doing things that they shouldn't be doing to get the job done, you're not going to do anything to disturb it. You're not going to mess up their flow. If they're doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, if they're cutting corners or whatever, you're going to come in, you're going to shut your mouth, and you're just going to go along with the flow. Like you're not going to do anything to disrupt that. And if they believe that you are that kind of person, you can get in there and you can be a part of their club. I know this for a fact because when I went and did an interview for one job, all of the gentlemen were at least 30 years older than me. And I could tell that they was judging me and sizing me up to see if I was going to come in and mess with their flow. You see what I'm saying? Because they was like, well, we got this thing pretty down packed how we like to do things here. So you think you can fit in without, and they said it. So basically, and they always said like, without, ruffling any feathers, you think you can just sort of flow in and come in and just flow with what we got going on. And I was like, oh, okay, this is different. And I told the recruiter who sent me there afterwards, I said, they're not gonna hire me. Oh, no, no, no. You got all of the skills. And this is when I understood right fit. I was like, I get that. Yes, I have the right skills, but they're not gonna hire me. They're gonna say I'm not the right fit. About 2, 3 hours later, maybe the next day, I can't remember, but shortly after me and her talk, she was like, how did you know? She said, that's what they said, that you're not the right fit. I said, they got something going on there that they don't want anybody to disturb. And whatever that is, I don't know. And I don't want to be a part of it. So thank you. And I drove from Virginia Beach to Vienna, Virginia, which is probably 2.5, maybe 3 hours away. I was way out there. So the true meaning of right fit is you're not going to mess up the flow of what we got going on, no matter how inaccurate or illegal or whatever it is, you're not going to mess it up. The next one is the new person syndrome. The new person syndrome is you come in as a new person and they just loving you to death. Oh man, you it. They show you everything. They put out the red carpet. They throw down the coming to America red flowers for roses for you. Everything until the next new person comes, and then they just throw you all to the side like you're a piece of trash. And then the sad part is, and sorry about that, something got in my eye. The sad part is you're doing your job, but then all of a sudden they start comparing you to the new person and they treat the new person like they're a king or a queen. And it's like, and they deal with you like you don't know what you're doing. You're incompetent. So that new person syndrome, basically they treat you good. And then as soon as a next new person comes in, they flip it on you. And they make you seem like you just worthless. The next one is I need somebody to lead or manage to get my promotion. At one of the jobs I was at, I wish I could say the name. I mean, I could, but I'm not. That was their business model. They always had somebody, you always had to have somebody that you was leading. And they would go around picking people. Okay, I'm gonna lead you. You're gonna be my protege, and you're going to do everything I say. And then I'm going to write in my report how I helped you, which then helps them get their promotion. And you're like, I don't need you. And they were like, well, we got to have counseling sessions. We got to sit down and talk to you periodically. I'm like, I want to talk to you. Just tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. No, 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 no. Now they never directly said I need to lead some. I need you so I can, someone to lead so I can, you know, um, or manage so I can get my promotion. But that's what I figured out. That's what I figured out because as I started getting, more senior in the company, or at least, yeah, I guess you say in the company, then they started telling me, well, if you really want to get moved up, you got to find somebody to mentor. That's probably why I have such a hard time with this mentor thing because they was pushing that mentorship, and I'm like, okay, y'all are using people. You really are. Just like people are being used in this notary business. You're just being used. So they're always looking for somebody to lead or manage to get their next promotion. The next one is one that we can all identify with is talking down to a person. There's always somebody that's willing to talk down to you, or they try to get you to talk down to people. Enough said on that. The next one, working long hours means I'm a better worker than you. They're working long hours. And because they work long hours, to them, it means that they are better than you. So they're working long hours. And to them, it means I am better than you because I work what, 8 hours, maybe 12 hours a day. And one company I worked with, their business model was they always came in late, like 9, 10, 11 o'clock, but would stay late at night to make it appear like, hey, we're working late. Well, of course, you got to work late. You came to work at 10 o'clock just before lunch. When you finally got here, people were sitting there eating brunch and getting ready for lunch, and you just not starting out the day. It's like, where were you at 6 o'clock this morning when we had a meeting? But that's what some people think because they work long hours, that makes them better. The next one is this is one of my favorites. We are a team, but no one here is going to help you, or no one here is going to look out for you. That's what I'm going to say. The same thing. We are a team, but no one here is going to look out for you. Let that sink in. This is pretty much what I was told. We are a team, but no one here is going to look out for you. You got to look out for yourself and figure it out. So I'm like, man, what kind of team is that? What kind of team is that? I don't understand. But that's what they told me. And I was like, okay, got it. Then another one is what I say outranks the customer. Just don't tell them I said that. And I was in a meeting with a lady, and that's exactly pretty much what she told me in her own words. I mean, yeah, I would have to say she pretty much, yeah, that's what she said. Cause she was like, the customer don't know what they want. I know what I want, but this conversation is just between us. So essentially, she's like, what I say outranks the customer. The customer that's paying me and you, what I say outranks what they want, but just don't tell them I said that. And it was crazy because I guess you could say I'm an award-winning web developer. Back then, I was working for an organization, a high level government organization, and they do these things called combined federal campaign where they raise money for stuff. Well, I was asked to put together a website, and they had a website that was real janky. It was just all jacked up. And they said, you need to put together a website since you're a webmaster. You need to put together this website. Okay. I didn't know I put together the website. I talked to the customer. I found out what they wanted. I did exactly what they wanted. Everything worked out. And then next thing you know, I got an award and think I think it was best website for a small organization or something like that. And it was signed by Hillary Clinton. Okay. But it was a top-notch award that was given because of the work that I did. But during that time, they was trying to tell me how I should do it. My people, my team was telling me, "Well, do it this way." And I'm like, "But that ain't what the customer want." Well, they don't know what they're talking about. We just do it. I mean, I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm doing what the customer said." And in doing what the customer wanted, it all worked out, and I got an award. Not that I was looking for it. I didn't even know the thing existed, but I got an award for doing that. And I was like, okay, cool. I can't remember whether it was a first prize, but it was an award of some sort. Then, which leads into the next one. You know more about it or can do it better than me, but I'm going to tell you how to fix it. You know more about it, whatever it is, or can do it better than me, but I'm going to tell you how to fix it. And I'm like, how you gonna tell me how to fix something that you don't know how to do? But because you're my supervisor, or you feel like you're a supervisor, or because you've been with the company longer, or on this project longer, or because you're older than me, or whatever the case may be, because there's some type of seniority you feel that resides in you over me, it's yes, you know more about it than me. Yes, you are better at it than me. But guess what? I'm gonna tell you how to fix it. And I'm like, that just doesn't make sense, especially when it's not broke. But that's one of the things that I was dealing with. Another one is the way you look is a problem. And I used to be told that you don't look enthused. You don't look like you want to be here. I'm like, I don't. Who wants to be here? Who wants to be 218 miles away from their family? And something to back up to. And the reason why they had an issue with the way I looked, and the reason why I was looking like I didn't want to be there because the first day that I get to the job, they come up to me and say, "Hey, um, do you really think you can do this job?" I was like, yeah. And I told him, I said, I done drove 218 miles for my family. I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the job. I'm like, y'all hired me. You knew where my skill set was at, but you hired me, and now you're gonna question whether or not I can do the job on my first day. So you're doubtful whether or not I can actually do the job. That blew me away. That blew me away. So that's why they had a problem with the way I look because from that day forward, I didn't look like I wanted to be there on my first day. Then the next one here says, make the customer feel supported. We don't want them complaining. Note what it's saying, make the customer feel supported. We don't want them complaining. We're not really going to support them. We're not really going to do what they ask. We're really not going to, you know, be what they want us to be, but just make them feel okay. Just make them feel good because we don't want them complaining. Enough said on that. Y'all get that one. This one here was one of them. Dummy down the product so I can look smart when I brief it to the leaders. So you put together something, whatever that something is, and they want you to dummy down the product so that when they brief it, they can look smart when they brief it to the leaders. Yes, this is the kind of stuff that I was dealing with. So they ask you put such and such together, and you put it together, and it's bam, and they won't let you present it. They won't let you share it because they're trying to take credit. But then the way you put it together, they can't describe it. They can't navigate it. They can't explain it and do nothing. They can't do. They're like, I don't know what to say. So then they want you to dummy down the product, make it look rudimentary, no life in it at all. And then when they come back and say, well, we don't like this. Who put this together? They start blaming you. But if they like it, then they take the credit for it because that's good leadership. Remember, you need to find somebody who they can lead or manage so they can get a promotion by having something that the leadership likes and they got their name on it. They present it, then they can stick their name on it and say, "Yeah, I was the one who's in charge of him. I guided him through the whole thing." In other words, they will lie just to get a promotion. The next one is even though I hired you because you are the best candidate, I don't think you can do the job, which is what I mentioned earlier. I, even though I hired you because you are the best candidate, I don't think you can do the job. Okay? I'm like, what in the world have I gotten myself into? And see, a lot of this stuff happened at this one job, but it had happened before and I just didn't understand it. And for whatever reason, when I went to Maryland, a lot of the stuff that was happening to me, I was like, man, this feels similar. And then it was like a name or a face or something was attached to the issues that I had been dealing with in the past. And I'm like, man, this sound the way, okay, these people were just a little more bolder. The other people was a little slicker in the way they came at me. So I was like, and I didn't pick up on it. Now, the next one, this is gonna get you. I don't know if any of y'all dealt with this, but I have in multiple places. Most of the team has no clue about your project, but you need to include them. You need to include any suggestions they give you. Even though it says most of the team has no clue about your project, whatever it is you're working on, but you need to include any suggestions they give you. I mean, you're working something and they want you not like just listen to them. Note what I said include, meaning if they say you need to add this to your website. And see, this is, let me so I can explain it to you. I was working on this project, building a website, not the combined federal campaign one or CFC, not the CFC one, but a different one, just because I was going around doing individual websites for the different department heads. That was one of the roles of the webmaster. I was working in a public affairs office. So part of the job for the public affairs is that everybody's website needed to look right internally and externally. So that was my job. Great. I loved it. That's what I do. So young lady was like, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. And she gave suggestions, but I didn't think I was obligated to do any of them until I get my mid annual review and was told, well, you didn't include so and so's suggestions. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They came up and made a suggestion to you. Yeah, okay, yeah, they did, but it wouldn't work. I was like, what they was talking about wasn't really going with the flow of what I was doing. So that's why I didn't do it. There was no need to waste time doing something that I clearly, based on my experience, could see is not going to work. Well, you need to include it anyway. I mean, if they came to you and suggested it, then you should at least try and see how it worked out. I'm like, why try something that I already knows is going to fail? I, my experience tells me I know it's going to fail. So why waste time doing something that I know is going to fail? And this is what I was faced with, and this is what many of you faced with, and this is what I was like, okay, I got to get out of this 9 to 5 work environment. Whoo, boy, just thinking about these things is just this one here is a trip. This one is a trip. Yes, you do a good job and the client is happy, but until you make me happy, no promotion. Until you make me happy, even though the client is happy, even though you are doing a good job, I cannot dispute that, but you have not made me happy. Well, what makes you happy? I don't know, don't care because I'm working for the client and you hired me to make the client happy and I'm making the client happy, but now you're telling me I can't get a promotion because I haven't done something that you think that I should to make you happy. Mm, mm, mm. This is a great one here. We all agree you have a problem and you need to fix it. We all agree you have a problem and you need to fix it. I'm like, y'all got to be kidding me. This is what was going on in my work career life. multiple times in multiple places. We all agree you have a problem. You need to fix it. And I'm like, what is the problem? You need to, and they wouldn't tell me what the problem was. That was the crazy part. They just said, you got a problem. You need to get it fixed. Well, what did I do? That's not for us to tell you. You need to figure that out. And I'm like, I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, I ain't did nothing wrong. Well, see, this is the problem here. Oh, so is that the problem that I don't think I did something wrong? So you mean to tell me if I go around telling everybody I think I did something wrong, then you'll be cool with me? If I can go around constantly saying I did something wrong, making myself look like I've done something wrong. And this one here, 8 months ago, you did something wrong, and I want to address it now. 8 months ago, you did something wrong, and now I want to address it. I was like, good googly moogly. 8 months ago, you did something wrong. 8 months ago, you did something wrong, and now I want to address it. And this one here is the kicker. Unproven allegations from coworkers about you hold more weight than the truth coming from you. I got to lean back on that one. Unproven allegations from coworkers about you hold more weight than the truth coming from you. Your coworkers accuse you of doing such and such and such. You provide evidence and proof that such and such didn't happen, but we still believe them. How can you believe them if I provided you proof that it didn't happen? Well, they're senior than you. And yes, right now in my mind, I'm thinking Kwame Brown. I ain't gonna lie, and this wasn't had nothing. This wasn't about him, but what he's talking about, what he's sort of dealing with, I've dealt with in the workplace where people just berate you and put you down and call you all kind of names and say you're this bad and that bad, all because some coworker said something negative about you. And when you, even though you provided, not so much when, but even though you did provide documentation and proof that what they're saying is wrong, that don't matter. We gonna we believe them. Why you believing them over me? You okay? You came and asked me to tell you the truth, and I told you the truth, and then and gave you evidence that what they said is not true. You then turned around and did what? Still believe them over me. You still believe them over me, even though I gave you the necessary proof to show that what they said was incorrect. I don't get it, people. But these 17 things, I think it's 17 of them, however many, y'all will probably count it later. But these are the things that really drove me. And there were times where I was like, well, things are getting better in the regular work environment, the W-2 world. And then I pull this out and read it. Oh, no, 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 no. Because something will happen. One of those 17 things will pop back up when I got with another company. And I'm like, oh goodness, nah, 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 nah. Mm-mm. And you can add more to that. I'm sure you can, but sorry about that, y'all. It's late. Oh my goodness. This is what drove me and pushed me and motivated me to find something that I could do to take care of my family and to move on. Nothing wrong with working a W-2. Somebody has to. But when I realized that my life was not such that could effectively work in that environment because I refuse to be a part of the cool kids club. I refuse to go along to get along. That's just not me. I'm like, okay, wrong is wrong. You know, it just wasn't right. You know, I remember when I was in the Navy, it was a young girl got raped. She was feeling this dude. She was liking him. Old boy apparently was liking her. We out to sea. Them two out there messing around with each other. Nobody knew they was out, while we was out on the open ocean, but they were. And back then I was working with the chaplain and I was a part of the rape crisis team. And nobody wanted to volunteer for it. So I said, I'll do it. I'll volunteer. Because we had women on board the ship. So I figured, somebody got to be there to help them out. So I said, I'll do that. Well, come to find out, the young lady was raped, and I was pulled in because I was a rape counselor, and I had gone through rape counseling training and all of that stuff. And the young girl was raped by a gentleman that grew up that came from my hometown of Jacksonville, Florida. Now, I didn't go to high school with him, but I knew he knew me through other people, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know those folk," and we were like, "All right, we cool." And I told him, I said, "Man, just keep your nose clean, everything will be fine." So apparently, allegedly, he raped her. She was allegedly set up by the other guy. And the guy who allegedly raped her allegedly had her underwear in his personal belongings. And the problem came with this story, the whole incident, was that she was allegedly married to somebody else, along with the guy who she was allegedly messing with that she liked. Them two was kicking it with each other, but both of them was allegedly already married. The guy who did the raping, he was not married. And I saw firsthand they threw it all on her. They blamed it all on her. And I was like, how can you blame it on her? Well, she should have never went with the guy in the first place. That's what they were saying. And I'm like, okay, they two grown people. They're gonna do what they do, but it doesn't mean that she should be violated by another person. So, and yes, it was rape. I can clearly say that it was because they proved it. They did the rape kit and all that. They proved it. And the guy went to jail. He got arrested and was convicted. But they never did anything to the guy who set her up. And then they tried to basically defame her. And I was like, this ain't right. This ain't right. And I'm trying to fight for this girl. And I was basically told, if you don't want to go down with her, you need to stop trying to fight so much for her. And I was like, is this what this world is coming to? And I had heard stories about how women get railroaded behind sexual assault, but that was my first time seeing it. And it was hard for me to even continue as a rape counselor after that because I was like, I'm not going to be able to help it. How can I help anybody? I can't help anybody because you're not going to believe them and stuff. So I had refused to just go along to get along. I refused to do that. I was like, I'm not gonna be a part of the cool kids club on this one. No, I can't. I wasn't a part anywhere of any of them. So I was like, no, I ain't doing this. So of course I was looked at as the bad guy because I didn't stand up for the men. Yeah, there go Griff. He trying to get us put in jail, and I'm like, you putting yourself in jail. I didn't do that. You shouldn't have did this to this woman and everything. So But those are the different things that I've dealt with in life through all of the different jobs. I mean, I've dealt with a few of those things I dealt with everywhere. And then other ones, depending on the situation, they just sort of popped up here and there. But the bottom line is these are 17 things, 18, however many, that you might be faced with, you might be dealing with right now. And it might be pushing you and motivating you to really take this business serious or to take whatever it is you're doing serious. That is great. And stay motivated, stay connected, stay energized, and it will all work out. It took some time for me, but it worked out. And I love it. And everything is going great. Yeah, and yes, I'm tired. That's why I'm doing all this moving, trying to stay awake. So that's why I look like I'm fidgety. Um, so I just wanted to share that with y'all. Hope you like it. Yes, long video. Probably the first long video I've done in a long time. Just messing with y'all. But y'all have a good one. I'm gonna finish up some stuff. I just cooked me some grits. They probably cold, so I'm gonna have to reheat them and then go to bed. So it's 1:40, it's 12:45 now. So I guess I've been going for about 45 minutes chit chatting. But I appreciate y'all, love y'all. Keep up the good work. I'm here to help y'all out. And I just look forward to seeing the success in y'all lives. All right. Talk to you later. Peace.